So she now starts saying things like, we're children of Mamlam, there's God in the water. And I'm like, ay, okay, son. That's what I'm dreaming. Now this big black python, is prevalent now in the water.
The church you went to, satanic?
I would not say satanic, but evil. I can never have my own definition of who I am. For example, I've tried so many things. I've tried to define it myself.
If you are new here, I don't know where you've been because Engineer Your Life has been around for the longest time. But if you are, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this episode. Leave your comment. We're a kind community. We're a community all about growth. So please make sure that your comment is constructive, it is kind, and it ensures that we all learn together and grow together in the process. But without wasting any more time, I've got another amazing guest, of course. There is Kaizer Chiefs Motaung family. There's Mohale. Motaungs are famous. So which one are you?
No, I married into the Motaung
Oh, you married into the Motaung
family.
family.
I'm Tlhabane, but I married into the Motaung family. But one for creatives, the actors.
The one for creatives.
Exactly.
So there's fame there too.
Of course.
Gayibona lento. Koketso, how's your heart today?
My heart is good.
Yeah.
I'm in a good space.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit nervous to be here to share my story. It is my story.
It's home. It's home.
I hope you're kind.
I'm very, very kind.
Yeah.
You say you're in a good space. Would you say it's a culmination of the things you've been through, having overcome them, or just because you're surrounded by love and just life is good?
I think obedience.
Okay.
I think obedience and actually understanding what my purpose is on earth. Then that takes away a lot of anxiety. Because I grew up with a lot of anxiety because I didn't know really where for or these things that are happening in my life.
Yeah.
What are they exactly,
Yeah.
And also I have a supportive partner and God is a father. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love asking this question to almost every guest. What is purpose? Because there's so many definitions of it, and so many people struggle thinking they have to work towards a purpose instead of existing in their purpose.
Yeah.
So for you, how do you define purpose?
Purpose is what you're born with, is who you are, and accepting, because we come into this world, right, and we're conditioned to be what we're not.
Sure.
Right? Then we drift and we walk away from actually who we are and who we are here to serve, right? Because I believe you're born with it. Like, for example, with my story, I was born with it, right? But I didn't know what it is, right? But when you grow a little older, then you realize that, oh no, I have to accept that little girl, the 4-year-old. That's what my purpose is. That's what I'm here to do, right? It's what you're here to do.
Yeah.
But when you're older and you're going back to it, trying to find it, because that's the words we use,
Sure.
you realize that, no, I have to accept Koketso.
Yeah.
I have to accept Koketso.
Yeah.
Then I know what my purpose is.
Yeah.
Is my purpose teaching or is my purpose healing? Do you understand? Because we're not what we do. What you do is not your purpose, but that thing that you came with. That's what your purpose is.
We are not what we do, but that thing that we came with.
Yeah.
Take me back 20 years. Before you became a Ndalo, there is another life, a completely different life. You were a young person looking and trying to find who you are, existing under a certain household. Just take me back 20 years from now. We're in 2025 now.
Yeah.
Take me to 2005.
Oof, what was happening in 2005? I'm so bad with numbers or timelines. Do you give me an age, rather? How old am I?
Between 5 and 15.
5 and 15.
Yeah.
So 5 years old, I was living with my grandmother, Letlakane village in Mafikeng. I'm from the northwest. I'm Zwane. Actually, Pedi. Yeah. But I grew up in Mafikeng. So
Yeah.
I'm both Pedi and Zwane.
Sure.
So grew up with my grandmother, and when I mean my grandmother, I mean my grandmother's sister, because my grandmother was working, right? Grew up with my grandmother until I was about 5, 6, right? So under that time, what was happening was I used to see a lot of things, but I did not understand what they are. I remember just sleeping, right, with my grandmother because I enjoyed sleeping with her, even though I had my own little bed there, but I enjoyed sleeping with her. And then these people pulling me off the bed, like dragging me off my feet, right? And so that's why I grew up with so much anxiety. And other times I'll just dream, there's a portal on the roof, it's open, people are flying in and out, and I don't know what's going on, right? And then I remember this one time though, for it to get better at that age, people were pulling me, right? Bad people. But some of them I know is faces I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are pulling me. And then my grandmother came riding after me. And then she had a walking stick,
Sure.
pointed it towards them, and they ran away. But then my little self started to realize, no, but somebody else can protect me, right? It's not all bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'll see space like that. And then there was one time seeing this bright yellow light, and there's a figure in it and telling me, oh, you're a Joseph, because I used to dream a lot. I dream about everything and everything. I see activities that are happening at night, right? But there's these scary ones, but there's still good ones as well. So this bright yellow light, it was really warm. And this figure, I can't really see what this figure is, telling me, you're a Joseph. Although I don't think it said you're a Joseph. It said you're a dreamer like Joseph,
Okay.
right? My
Mm-hmm.
dreamer like Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what that means. In my little mind, I'm thinking, do you know what happened to Joseph? I mean, his brothers, his siblings, wanted to kill him.
Mm-hmm. They rejected.
They sold him off. I am not a Joseph,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't want a coat of many colors because that's what got him in trouble anyway.
Sure.
But I'm that kid. When people come around, I know what's wrong with them. I look at you and I see things, you know? So as a result, my grandmother, when people came into the yard, she sent me away. But I realized when I was older what was happening. At that time, I was like, why you send me away? I also want to sit. But I also loved adults. I wanted to sit and be like this. But I don't know. And I don't know why I did that. I wanted to sit and be like this, but I'll see things in terms of what's happening with you in your life. Okay, cool. I move when I'm around 6. It's 6, right? Grade 1.
Mm-hmm.
I go live with my mother. And then there's this thing that follows me, and I don't know what it is, right? And it's something that it's a creature that I haven't seen even today in today's age, right? I tell my mom this is what's happening, and I'm scared to go to the bathroom. Every time I go to the bathroom, I'm scared to go to the bathroom. Calls Ndalo next door and is like, okay, this is happening with my child. Can you help? He comes, and then with Mulamu. Do you know what Mulamu is?
No.
Mulamu.
I'm a problematic Zulu man.
Yeah, and I'm Zwana sharks.
Yeah.
Mulamu. It's a stick, man, that
Yeah.
men use to
To
hit or
people.
tase. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Right, it comes with that. Since that day didn't come though. But I continue being this weird kid.
Yeah.
At school, I'm lonely. I'm a lone self because if you become my friend, I
Start
know
seeing
things about
things.
exactly. I know things about you, your family, right? But most importantly, I remember like the consistent threat of my life. You know, I dream about these things, people wanting to kill me or whatever. Like I said when I was listening, kill me. And I just didn't understand, like, why am I such a threat? But also, why do I know so many things about people? So we get born again. And I don't remember if it was my mom who got born again at that age. I think I was 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm going to mess up the timelines. Right? Gets born again, and we start going to this church, leaving faith. But I enjoy the music there. I am young, but it's also not a church to tell you, oh, you see things. That's not really a bad thing. So I thought it was a bad thing all my life, right? I go to school. When you come into my life, I'll know a little bit something about you. And I was like, shucks, there's something fundamentally wrong. Another thing is, my mom was born on the 19th. My sister, on the 13th of September. I'm born on the 13th of September. Mom, 13th October. My sister's 13th of June. So we have this thing also. So I have this shadow of, I'm a weirdo. I see things, right? Also, I see positive things, but also bad people want to kill me in these dreams, right? But also now the 13th. Am I a child of the devil? Right? I've got now that layer. So I move around with that. And then when I was about 6, 7 as well, or 8, I'm not sure. My mom sits me down and tells me, your dad has a mental condition. Mental condition, what does that mean? No, he's crazy, you know? And then she's like, this is the results as of my dad read a lot. They call him Prof. So
Mhm.
like Professor, I read a lot. It's like it spoke, you know, like in our communities when you start going crazy. Back
Yeah,
then and not
sure,
now.
sure.
Because mental illness awareness is quite
Prevalent now, yeah.
prevalent now. Back then, no, he's crazy, you know. You'd hear stories like your dad is picking up papers somewhere, wara, you know. So now at school, I get 100%, right? So I'm thinking, you're gonna be like your father. You can't get 100% now. But there's nothing I can do because only the only thing
I
I
know
need to do
everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I just need to study.
Yeah.
Don't you guys study? When people ask me like, don't you study? So if you studied, you should know everything. I thought it was normal, but yet at the same time, I have to hide. So that's why I grew up with so much anxiety. It's layers upon layers. Okay, do you want me to go on?
No, I'm having fun.
You know what I'm saying?
Take me to the ages.
Okay.
Hey, family, quick one. As you know, our podcast is all about growth conversations. It's all about igniting your power. It's all about healing the inner parts of who we are that are difficult to deal with and difficult to manage. As we do that, we'd like your assistance in growing the platform by you subscribing, by you liking all our videos. It helps us to reach greater audiences and change more lives. Do continue enjoying the episode. Yeah.
Right? And I remember what else happened around that time. Oh, I nearly got violated, but my mom got in there just in time when I was little. So there's these also series of unfortunate events that I don't know what's happening that I got to. We will get there later. Cool. Let's go now. I'm in grade 8. I'm in boarding school. So I told
So are you
myself,
still having the dreams throughout? Are you, because there's a point where you questioned yourself and said, am I a son of the daughter of the devil?
yeah.
Did you still have that feeling throughout all these years?
Yeah. I walk around with it because my dad is mad. I see these things. Nobody knows what these things are. Nobody knows that, oh, you could be prophetic. You could be another thing. I'm born with a veil. It's not a common thing, right? I'm also thinking, is it because of this thing that I'm born with? You know what I mean? That I am this odd person out. In every way I go, I stand out like a sore thorn. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make friends anymore because if I make friends, then I have to say some things that they will not understand. Only I understand. I mean, even my family doesn't really understand it, right? Although at some point I thought my grandmother understood. That's why I was always with her, right? And she was tell me things that there's always been conversations around me, like conversations like purity. Don't do this. Don't put this on your head. Don't let people touch your head. And I'd just be like, you see, why? What is wrong with that, right? But she didn't fully explain that.
Sure.
So I didn't. So I go around with that, like, no, something is wrong with me. And I could feel it as well. But also there's this voice that speaks, even though it's not all the time. Remember that voice with the yellow light in this figure? It told me I'm a Jew. It speaks sometimes. So I'm like, you see now, maybe this is the voice that my dad heard, you know. Maybe he had a lot of voices because I never had a lot of voices, just these layers. So everywhere I go, I am trying to hide. So hiding became my thing, that I don't want people to see me, right? And why do I get 100%? But I'm also not saying, let me stop studying. Maybe, you know what I mean? I'm also not saying that because, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, I go around like that. I am in grade 8 now, boarding school. When I get there, I think it was Catholic. I don't know what the belief was. I think Catholic, no? Get there. And I told myself, nobody knows me here.
It's a first start.
Exactly. This is the first start. Even though I left everybody, my sisters, my mom. But I could be a completely different person here. When I get there, I start seeing all the spiritual activities that are happening in this place now, you know? And then everybody, I look around, everybody's just so normal. So I remember this one
What
time.
activities are happening?
No, see people, like what people do to other people. Like, for example, you would do this to this particular thing because when we go home, we go to different homes. And I'll go, you tampered with somebody's books, or you did. Do you understand? I would know that. And sometimes I wouldn't dream, I would just know, right? And I wouldn't know how I know. And that confused me even worse because I am young. I can't say, I know you did 1, 2, 3, right?
What sort of things did you see?
At night, I'll see people having meetings, or creatures
At school. Yes.
having meetings, whether different cliques, different groups of people. These belong to this, and this belongs to this kingdom. They'll have meetings about the schools in terms of what is really happening in the schools, or powers that are in the school. I'll see things like that. I remember there's one time, because I didn't know what a vision is. When am I dreaming? When I'm not dreaming? Because I don't know what's happening in my mind. So this one time, my pink and white towel disappears. But I know it's going to disappear, right? Because I've seen it, right? But I wasn't sleeping. So it's just like, okay. And I know who took it. So I'll know things like that for other people as well, who are like, and I know who took it. So I'm frustrated. I'm angry at this person, but I don't know how I know, right? So, but when she sees me every time, she faces down. She can't face me anymore. But I know she took it, like things like that, things that don't make sense to a normal human being, and I can't come to you and be like, oh, Lungelo, this is what happened. So this one time, this other girl was gonna be violated, and I knew that she was gonna be violated, but I just didn't say anything because I don't know how I know. And I think that makes me emotional, because you had this inside, but I can't tell you because I also don't know how I know. And I'm just so young, I can't come to you. And then it happens, But anyway, I'll see things like that in the school. I want to get into something, but I want to breathe a little.
For clarity, you were able to see a young girl get violated even before she was going to be violated, but you didn't have the capacity to tell her, or the understanding of knowing what's going on, because the elders around you were confusing you even more about in trying to explain what's going on. In fact, they were demonizing what's happening within you, saying you could be daughter of the devil. What you're doing is wrong. Just forget about it.
No, the elders around me, they were not really explaining.
Okay.
Simply, I think, because they didn't understand it as well. Yeah. And around that time, when I'm in boarding school, remember my grandmother, I used to tell my dreams to. I think I skipped this as well. When I woke up in the morning, I'll tell her my dreams. This is what happened. And I saw this person, and I saw this, and whatever. I used to tell her my dreams. So now, when I'm in boarding school, she passes on. So I no longer have that person
who
to go to exactly to be like, hey, this is what's happening. This is what I'm seeing. I have to establish that with somebody else. But I don't know if I can now. You know what I mean? Because I have to start from somewhere and be like, Mom, actually, this is what's happening. But then I started slowly. But when that was happening, I was alone because I didn't know who to go to now. You know what I mean? So anyway, one eventful day, I'm with my friends. 3, I was the 4th one. We're standing outside. Break time. The bell rings. When the bell rings, the 2 run off. We were going into class. Our class was nearby, or the other one was standing near me. So I lift up my hand and I say goodbye. Bye. I fall on the floor. It's like this force came and just threw me on the floor, and my knee dislocated, got out of this position from me just lifting my hand, right? They run into their class, they laughing, what's going with her? They didn't think it's serious. I also didn't think it's serious, right? But I felt the force, right? I'm on the floor. Now I'm alone because people are in classes, right? And then it's so painful, the pain that I've never felt in my life, right? To a point where my body is crying. I don't want to cry. I'm telling my body, stop crying. I don't want to cry because I don't know what's happening, right? I don't want to cry. My knee snapped. What is this? I get it back into its position. Cool. now I have to stand up. I can't stand up. It's just too painful, right? I can't stand up. But anyway, I don't know however long trying to stand up. Eventually, I make it into the classroom. Right?
And everybody's gone.
Everybody's gone at this time because they thought I was joking. I also thought, like, what
It's
is
not that
happening?
deep, yeah.
Exactly, it's not that deep. But
Yeah.
when I get to the floor, like, what just happened,
Mm.
you know? Because your brain, your brain catches up, right? Okay. And now we're in this classroom. I remember this one girl massaging my knee, but it's just too painful.
Mhm.
And luckily, I think we're not doing anything serious. I think we're picking our files. Follow? Okay, cool. And then tomorrow morning, long story short, I have to be rushed to hospital because there's nothing the clinic that the clinic can do at that time. Rush to hospital to a doctor first. Actually, he gets this, like, this is a serious case. If she doesn't get operated now, she's never going to be able to walk again. Rush me to hospital. Get there. Anyway, they operated. Remember, my family been there. The next day, and that also takes me to a story I skipped when I was younger. When my mom told me I had this growth thing when I was young, when I was born, right? But it was that thing that they were trying to make sure that I'd never get to walk again. I had growth on my feet.
Who's they?
They, some people that obviously I'm not trying to say this person and this person in this podcast, right?
In your mother's explanation, I'm trying to understand.
Oh, in my
Yes.
mother's explanation, he was saying
So dark forces.
Exactly, dark forces.
So witchcraft.
Yeah, witchcraft. You'll never get to walk again. And we took you to a prophet, a healer, who healed you with water. She just prayed, she gave you water, and then you were healed.
Mhm.
Right? So, yeah. And then my knee got restored, operated. Then now I am okay. But I had to skip school for like 6 months. 6 months. Yeah, because I had to also do a lot of
Physio,
things. Exactly, physio.
Learn to walk again.
Exactly, learn to walk again.
In the 6 months, mentally, emotionally, are the spiritual attacks still there?
In the 6 months, I don't remember anything about that 6 months, actually. I don't know if, that thing that your mind tries to protect you. Maybe I'm not ready to face it. But I faced a lot. Like, I had to go to therapy. I faced a lot. I had to convene with God and show me. Even things that I had forgotten about my childhood, he had to take me back when he started revealing a lot of things that are happening in my life. And in terms of, no, this is what's really happening with you. You're not mad or anything. And you're not going to be mad like your father. This is what's really happening with you, right? So in that 6 months, though, maybe I remember a few days, but I was not in a good space because obviously as a child, you want to be in school with other kids. Now you're home with the adults. My sisters have to go to school. My mom has to go to work. You are there alone with a helper. There's nothing you can talk to her about because simply as well, you know what I mean? Yeah, I remember a few days, but I don't remember the whole period of what was happening during that time.
After the injury, have you figured out what's going on with you yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't figured out what's happening. In my mind, I'm thinking, child of the devil, somebody is bewitching me. Maybe these thoughts or these visions, the devil is giving me these. Do you understand? Because at least I know that much. I go to church, so I know that much. There's a God and there's the devil. God is that nice person, and the devil is not. So everything bad is happening is a result. But also I'm fighting to be normal. I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to get mad. I mean, go mad. I don't want to entertain these things that I'm seeing or speak much about them, because then now I am becoming my father. So we're not aware in terms of what's really happening with me.
Life continues throughout high school. Are you still going through the same thing?
Yeah.
Thoughts, attacks.
Yeah. I'm still going through the same attacks in high school. But you know what's amazing? That God was doing in my life that I didn't see that he was doing at the time. There's always be people who wanted to be around me, but I didn't want people around me. So when I go back to school anyway, obviously everybody wants to talk about the incident because nobody can believe what happened, especially the people I was with. They're like, what happened? I also don't know what happened. So at that time, I decide I'm not going to speak much about it. I'm not going to tell them what happened because I don't know what happened, right? I'm just going to keep quiet. So I was that friend that you don't want to be around because I was always quiet. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. So what happened? I'll just keep quiet. That's when I decided, you know what? I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to say yes, no. Whew, I'm fine. That's it.
No friendships, nothing for the rest of your schooling.
Well, there's a couple of people, like I said, who would come.
tried.
Exactly. But I wasn't open.
You weren't receptive.
Because you're going to ask me things or I'm going to see things about you. Then I have to tell you. But I can't tell you because also this thing, I think another reason was because I didn't understand it. I just thought then I'm the witch. Why do I see things about people? Why do I see that this is going to happen? And it actually happens. So I was just like, stay away from people. But God always made sure that there's people who come into my life and friends who like, who are your friends? You're not our friends, but who are your friends? So there's always people who came. But I was living alone in that. I was quiet. I wasn't saying anything. They would try, but I pushed them away.
Do you remember what's the worst thing you saw about someone?
No, people are going to know. Let's move to the next thing. People are going to know. People are going to... no. People would know.
The person.
Because remember when you're sharing your story, when you're sharing your story as well, it's also to make sure that there's people going through what I went through, for them to know it is normal and it's okay. We're not trying to condemn anyone or air people's laundry in terms of what happened or what's happening. Because people will know. Like a lot of people, I went to a boarding school, so there's a lot of people there. They would know who I'm talking about, and that won't be cool.
How bad was that thing?
Lungelo. No. Ask me about another thing that relates to me, not other people.
I'm trying to understand in this process the severity, just to understand how much you have to carry as well. So we don't have to say what happened. I'm just saying the intensity of what happened. And did it change lives? Was it something that people moved on from quickly? In that sense.
Let's just say it included death, somebody else dying.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's painful. You're still in high school ends. I'm assuming it wasn't a pleasant experience, as you said. But when high school ends, do you still have the vocab of understanding what's going on with me?
So when high school ends,
do you still feel like a child of the devil, or have you had some awakening?
So grade 11, I changed high schools because my mom was sick and I wanted to be close to my mom. But also, this is not a good start that I was hoping for, right? But I really want to get away now because it's just too much. Also, finances were not really
great.
Yeah, great, right? So I decided, no, let me speak to mom. So I speak to her for the first time. My mom was strict. She's like, no, it's fine. And I was like, it's okay. Yeah. So I changed school so I can be close to him. And the new school that I'm in, they have fellowship. Remember, I went with Christian, they had fellowship. We have, what was it called again? CFC.
Yes, like church for school kids.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'm starting to understand my relationship with God. I wasn't really understanding. We're going to church because my mom was going to church.
Sure.
I was not really understanding. And anyway, I was just I don't know. I'll just move during service. I'll just be in another world, dreaming. I used to, daydreaming or whatever. I also had those, you know. I'm starting to understand in terms of my relationship with God, But then also it's very okay. And then grade 12, I'm just gonna slide very quickly through those because it's the same experience, right? But it's also we're understanding about God and about particular ministers. It's still not it could be happening to me. Like, it's okay, it's happening to this minister. But also I want that minister to help me. I'm not inclined just to say, okay, I could be prophetic. I could be, do you understand? But it's still something that I'm looking at this minister doing, but he is doing that, not me. And I don't want to be like her. I mean, like her or him. I want them to heal me. You know what I mean? I want them to heal me. Anyway, long story short, I decided after matric, I see this particular minister. He ministered on Sunday on ETV at a time. And I was like, oh, this is a powerful man of God. I'm going to this church. Look at him casting devils out. I know people know who he is, but I'm just not going to mention, right? Casting evil out. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to help me.
Yes. With his white suit.
You didn't have to say that. But yes, I was like, this is my man.
Yes.
This is where I'm going. So, matric, my mom paused as well because she was sick. Cool. I come here, so I had two options between Words and UJ, and I was like, UJ is great because also it's the arts, you know. I'm a creative person, the arts, even though I did biochemistry at the time, you know. Just because you're smart with books,
doesn't mean you like them.
Exactly, it doesn't mean you like them, you know. So yeah, so I can do that. Or they say SABCs, yeah, Randburg's, yeah, I can get to do what I love, you know, which is the creative arts. I get there, and when I get to varsity, the first week, society week, the first people I meet is people from this church. It's like, guys, God ordained. I'm going to this church. Cool. I get there. The first weekend, they're like, would you like to go to the healing school? I'm like, are you joking? Of course. That's why I'm here in my heart. Get to the healing school, experience that whole, and I was like, you know, God.
What's a healing school?
So he has a healing school, but it's not like he's teaching people how to heal. So people go to him who are sick, who are demon possessed, who are, you know, different types of people who need healing in different categories. So they spend a little bit time with him teaching. He teaches them the word, right? So that when he, on the day of performing miracles, then when they receive their healing, they know that, you know, they know the word. Yeah, I go there and I'm right here with him and he's right here and he's performing these miracles and I'm watching, I'm weeping. It's like, oh, thank you, God. I know I found my healing. Yo, you know, because this time I'm thinking, I need healing. Somebody's going to take all of these things away
from me.
Exactly. Yeah. I know. What happens now in the church is God starts speaking to me about him, rather. Then now that voice, it's stronger. The one that I heard when I was little, but I'm casting it out. It's like, this is still the devil. I'm casting it out because also in that ministry, it's about pastor this, pastor that. They even called him Jesus in a suit.
What is the voice saying to you about him?
It's saying, okay, the first thing that let me talk about this first. So our pastors in the church, campus ministry, I'm a leader. I accelerated very quickly. I'm a leader. We're leaders, we're in leadership, right? They call a leaders meeting. Okay. We go to a leaders meeting. When you get to the leaders meeting, all these news about pastors are sleeping with women, different types of women, they getting them pregnant, asking them to do abortions, you know. I was so disappointed and so hurt. It's like, I thought we'd be living in this thing all together. It's our thing, you know. Disappointed. Cool. So while I'm there now, I'm getting back to that anxiety is coming back because I thought anxiety is going now, you know. Even the attacks, I'm not experiencing that text so much. I'm only seeing the good stuff. When I dream about a person, it's the good stuff. Oh, you're gonna have a child. Nah, a job. You know what I mean? Good things. All right. Shapo. And then now anxiety is starting to come. Now I'm starting to now have words of knowledge about this man in terms of the primary spirit that he uses in the church, including this thing now of people making abortions in terms of what is connected to and the God that is connected to. I'm not going to get into details with that. For sure, people can put one and two together.
Sure.
Right? And I'm like, boys, who are you? And what is happening? I still want to be in this church. I mean, for a period of time, I felt like I felt my, I felt
my alignment,
exactly connectedness to God,
Yeah.
and that texts were not so much, And I was like, you know what? Let me go to Pretoria. I'll do the traveling thing to school, Let me go to the Pretoria branch. I go to the Pretoria branch.
Still the same church.
Still the same, still the same church. I'm not learning because I'm running after that thing that I felt for those couple of months. That you know what? No, man, I felt good.
So I'm running after that initial feeling.
Exactly, because I'm like, it's good, I'm not a child of the devil anymore. Those attacks are gone. I see only good things now. You know what I mean? But also, I think I was looking for a father. I mean, my father was never there because of mental illness. I was looking for a mother because this
belonging.
church, exactly, belonging. That's what I was looking for, really. I get to Pretoria, and also my anxiety went down. Do you understand? So I get to Pretoria. When I get to Pretoria, when you have from the big church, obviously, automatically you become part of the leadership. We've been sent out to start churches even, and so the first one we were sent out. I'm sent out with a man of God within the church, but his wife was livid. I'm not understanding why the woman is livid. So later, not even a long time when I was there, right? Later, news come out again in terms of women are sleeping. I mean, these men of God, they're sleeping with these women, right? It's a known thing now. And one of the sisters I befriended was sleeping with the pastor herself, the main pastor of the church.
In the new branch.
In the new branch.
Yeah.
And this new branch, it also have mini branches. It's a big church, right? Mini branches, and women from small branches are also coming forth, and it's like, he took my money, he did this, he's sleeping with me, do you understand? So this thing of money is sleeping with women and actually asking women to do abortions so we can feed a God. You know what I mean? It's a prevalent thing.
A sacrifice.
Exactly.
These kids are a sacrifice.
Obviously, because it's
to make the
done
ministry
so
bigger.
much. Exactly, it's done so much.
Yeah.
I remember this one time I'm sitting there and they're like, if you want to send a message to pastor, the main pastor, you must pay 10,000 rand. And I'm not kidding. To you to stand in front of the camera like this, like we're recording like this, to say, Pastor, I love you, this is my message to you. That's when it turned. I was like,
so you won't meet him, you won't get his time. You are sending him a pre-recorded message that will be delivered to him.
For 10,000 rand. That's when I was like, no, I can't be here anymore. I don't know what's happening, but I can't be here anymore. Sharp. Mafikeng. The same church. I'm not learning. I go to Mafikeng.
You go to Mafikeng. You go back home.
I'm from.
Okay.
Mafikeng. I'm like,
and you're like, round 3, let's go.
Round 3, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to Mafikeng. I'm home, man. I'm going to Northwest University. I'm transferring everything in my life. West University.
Let's reestablish.
Exactly, because I'm home now. Maybe that's what I'm missing. And I'm running away from who I am, essentially. So I'm just starting to get in touch with this thing. Maybe I don't really know myself as a people, Let me go home and do the studying and everything with the church thing in Mafikeng. In Mafikeng, there wasn't a lot of drama. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people even in the church. Yes, we do have this brother sleeping with whoever, you know what I mean? But it wasn't as big as pastors doing it themselves. I mean, in Pretoria, this girl that I know, Mamu Root, trapped her so much that she had marks everywhere in her body. I was so shocked. Who even fights like that? How do you fight like that as a human being? Do you understand? But to show you,
the pastor's wife
beat
up somebody else.
Beats up somebody else like that, right? So that's why this woman, when I went to start a ministry with somebody, was acting the way she did because he thought maybe I'm sleeping with, because it's such a thing that you didn't know. There you go, Koketso. You don't know this is what's happening.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Okay, do. And then, yeah, we're in Mafikeng. Nothing much, but also I'm like, no, guys, in Mafikeng, no. After a few months or a year, I don't know. After a few months, I'm like, no, I'm going back to Joburg. Remember, I gotta go and be famous, right? I gotta go be famous.
This
Okay,
life is too
director
slow.
is too slow. I can't do it. I'm transferring back to Johannesburg. I can't do this.
Round 4.
Round 4 in Johannesburg, right?
You go back to the same church?
I didn't go back to the same church.
Okay.
I go back to the same church. I go back to UJ though. Shapo, I go back to UJ. I am in Johannesburg. UJ. Yes. I'm in Johannesburg now. I get an agent. Audition. Act here, act there. Meet my husband on a particular set to be there. Yeah, starting to work, and it's like, oh, I'll do church at home. I can't do this anymore. But while I'm there, and anyway, I'm doubting this church thing and God thing, you know. I'll just pray at home. But now I'm starting to get into things like philosophy, and you know what I mean, feminism, and I'm changing my direction. I'm like, this life does not work. Not the church, not a man of God, not a minister, but their life.
Now it's the universe and the moon.
Exactly.
Instead of God and Jesus.
Jesus, you know. I'm starting to get intrigued, and maybe I don't know myself. Maybe I need to know who my ancestors are, you know. But it's slow. It's really, really slow. I remember going to 27 Boxes in Melville, and we saw a medium. And it was Dominique. I don't know if she's still there. Right? Dominique, and she sees your future. When it came to me, she saw nothing. I'm like, okay, it's coming back again. I was like, okay, but there's something fundamentally wrong with you. You came with somebody else. They can see what's happening with the person. But to you, they can't see anything. Anyway, time goes, sharp, we finish school. Go to after now. Now I'm studying for, I'm always studying like my dad, really. Books are fun, you know? Yeah. After my honors now, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable in my body. Masters, then that's when I really started feeling I was going to take cinematography. Ended up in producing and writing because uncomfortable, right? Started feeling uncomfortable. Okay, cool, but it's uncomfortable, man. It's not really sickness. Cool. After that, I started feeling fundamentally really sick in my body. Every part of my body is painful, right? So I start the church thing again. We see different prophets. Nobody can really tell me what my problem is.
Church thing, you go to other new churches now, and you're just trialing new churches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to new churches now, but mainly because so that they can pray for me, so that they can pray for me as well. But when I went to Rhema, I was looking for a home, but it didn't really feel like a home. You know what I mean? Then different prophets. I remember being in a church in Pretoria, and then they slapped me so hard, and then they're trying to tell me I have a demon, but I don't. I'm just like, but if I had a demon, it will manifest, So I'm like, but if I had a demon, it will manifest. But you're really clapping me here, and it's really painful. You're not hitting the demon, you're hitting me. It's like, that is a demon. I promise you, that is a demon. What's talking is a demon, and this person's like, who are you? I'm so confused. It's like, Koketso, who are you? And he slapped me so hard. And for sure, you guys know that ministry, and the pastor kept saying, Ziva, Zimeme. Obviously, I'm not mentioning a church, but, Ziva, Zimeme. And he clapped me. He clapped me so bad. When not doing prophets anymore now. And we start talking. Now it's, met my husband. Start talking with my husband. Maybe we should consider African spirituality. Maybe that's the calling you have. Or the house we lived in Melville at the time. I would see things in the house, and I'd tell him, there's stuff in this house. We need to take care of that. Don't we pray? But they're not going away, They're not going away, you know. And then now that our texts are coming as well, you know, those are texts, they're back now. Now I'm starting to think maybe that church really helped me, but I'm not going back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just continue. Yeah. So we start consulting. When we
Isangoma.
consult, yeah, Isangoma.
Yeah.
We start consulting Isangoma. Prophets didn't work, churches didn't work. Consult Sangoma. The first person I consult, like they just can't see anything. They can't see, at least maybe whoever lawyered you or you have a calling. They can't see anything at all. And I'm not kidding. My husband is here. He can tell you he can't see anything. So I'm getting worried again. Oh, shucks. Now I'm sick now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, let's pause this Sangoma route. Let's go into Western medicine. We get into Western medicine. We do every blood test there is. I don't know how many specialists I know, but I qualify not to be a doctor. I'm joking. There was the time when my feet were sore. We saw a podiatrist, rheumatologist, because I was just sweating. And what is this? I was just not sweating. Rheumatologist, you see it when?
I'm an engineer.
Oh, what word, baby? Swelling, inflammation. Rheumatologist. I see a neurologist. I remember praying when went to see a neurologist and said,
Yeah.
God, let it be something wrong with my mind, because something was wrong with my father's mind.
And if it is, then the neurologist will fix it.
Exactly, we'll
Yeah.
fix it. You know, I remember going to blood tests and it's like, God, can I get anything when I went to see a rheumatologist? Give me something, HIV, I will take. Obviously, now I'm not praying like that. At that time, I will take the pills.
Yeah.
Give me lupus, something, anything. But I am so sick. Everything is wrong. Everything is painful in my body. Nothing with Western medicine. This one time, we went to a massage place in Northcliffe, and at that time, I was doing Chinese medicine now. They give you herbs. I'm trying to drink herbs, you know, and then acupuncture. Nothing
you've
is
tried everything.
I've tried everything. When I tell you, I know that God is alive. I'm not joking, you know. I've tried everything.
So Chinese, yeah.
Chinese, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing Reikis, you know. I'm doing everything. And when we were there, this one lady, we're like, did we try everything? Do you not know anyone? She tells me, there's this woman in town. We call her Mama. She's Indian though. Go to her. She helped whoever. We go to this woman. When we get there, it's like, okay, your mom sent you to me. Obviously I've always had a knowing. My knowing is just saying no. But I sit because I was like, no, but maybe she's telling the truth. Send you to me. I try that. Nothing. Okay? Nothing. And we're like, okay, let's go back to traditional medicine, you know, Isangom. There's this one time we start, and then there's this one time we went to see a particular one, and this voice that I've always heard is like, get out of there. That's when I appreciated this voice. Get out of there. Get out. There's no one here. But somebody saying get out. We left. Never went back. But obviously sat through the whole thing, her talking, whatever she's saying, got out. Sharp. Now we're in Lesotho. We decide, okay, South African, the problem is not, it's not that they can't see. Maybe it's South Africa. Maybe the mood here, these people, they don't have power, you know. They can't help you. Let's look in other countries, you know, like Lesotho, Botswana, Gabon, you know. But honestly, we're not really considering Lesotho or Botswana that much because they're still also close by. We're thinking, go to Malawi, go Gabon, you know. Maybe we've heard those people are really powerful. They will help you, girl, you know. And they will certainly pick up something. Now, we don't know anybody from there. We don't know how to get there. You can't just pick up and leave. And at a time, we're thinking, also, just know your Imvelapi. And my husband also know my Imvelapi. His family is from Lesotho. We end up going to Lesotho. When you're supposed to go to Lesotho as well, a lot of things happen. We miss flights out of something very small. You know, I get to Lesotho. When you get to Lesotho, the person we went to see at a particular lodge, at a particular lodge, we researched online this person. can heal, does 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
When we get there, this person has died not so long ago, you know. Oh, I wept. And it's like, guys, I've been chasing myself, chasing whatever's wrong. This person has died. Ask the Lord, can you recommend somebody then for us? Because you can't just go home, you know. They recommend someone. I go see that particular person, and it's a respected man around the community, apparently. Go see that particular person, gives me something. Go in future, come back tomorrow, you know. Went there the next day. But I got so sick. When I tell you, I feel like I am dying. I remember sleeping on the bed and looking at myself. Another me was here, looking at myself there. And it was the 31st of December, looking at myself. And I could see myself, I'm dying. I'm looking at my husband and I'm seeing how scared he is. And I was like, I'm dying in Lesotho. I'm dying in Lesotho, right? And with him also, it was not like, oh, you have a calling, maybe you have. No, it's like, oh, whatever's wrong with you, don't worry, we'll work it out. Just go futa.
I'll be there for you, yeah.
You know what I mean? Shapo. Okay, cool. I'm sick like that. And now we're stressing people from the lodge now. They're coming, try this, try that, try this. Nothing is happening. My tummy is running like I've never ran. And we're thinking renal failure. We're thinking a whole lot of things. But anyway, tomorrow. And at this time, I'm not dreaming even during that particular Puritanism. Like, okay, wake up tomorrow. I'm feeling better. The next day, the second, we're like, should we go home? Or should...
First of the new year now.
Yeah. Should we go home? No, it's the second now already.
Okay.
The first, feeling a little bit better. The third, the second, like, should we go home? And we start thinking, but we came all this way, man. You know? And at that time, I'm more like, I feel like I need to see a mother, you know, somebody old who knows what they're doing. But my spirit is crying for what? A mom, because maybe my mom would know what to do. My grandmother would know what to do because those are the people who raised me, right? Oh man, somebody more maternal, old, and that person we went to is a male. Maybe it's because we went to see a male, not necessarily a mom. The person, because we didn't drive there.
You flew.
We flew there. The person who was the driver who was driving us around is like, you know, tells my husband, my wife has had this particular illness and they healed. I'm like, your wife? Why weren't you saying that? Is she a woman? Like, yeah, she's a woman. She's an older person. Like, okay, we see. We go to that woman's house. And long story short, now I'm in this woman's house for like a week. But now, what I'm starting to dream now, I'm starting to dream cloths now. And ancestors that are not mine. But I didn't even know they're not mine at that time, because at that time, what I had discovered while I was searching is my dad's family is from Rustenburg, but in Rustenburg there's Matebele Ahamoselekas. But in Zwana, Babita Matebele Ahamoselekas, not in the Zulu way, right? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, Kimutebele Ahamoselekas. At that time I had discovered that, right? Sharp. Then now they're asking me who I'm from, who's I'm from. I'm telling them Matebele Ahamoselekas, which I later found out, no, that's not who you are. But now I'm starting to dream about cloths that are Ndebele. You know, I'm dreaming of clothes that are Ndebele. At that time now, I have a prevalent attack from African I call it Tokozizo because it's very hard to say Togolosh. You know what I mean? I have an attack of this thing now. It's attacking me. I'm fighting with it, like literally, physically, every night in my dreams. You know, I'm starting to fight with people in my dreams who want to sleep with me. Like, not, obviously not every night. I am fighting though. I know that when I lay my pillow, I have to fight. Nobody's gonna sleep. No, why? And then I'm telling this woman, there's another thing that's happening with me, which is something she did not pick up. This is what's happening, right? And she's like, no, some glosses actually want to sleep with people. I was so shocked.
Who's Glozy?
Eh?
Does she tell you who's Glozy wants to sleep with?
No, she's like, some glosses, which is my glosy.
Okay.
Right? Could be my glosy who are trying to sleep with me. I'm like, but that does not make sense, ma'am. It really does not make sense.
Because
If
as if
they're
you're
godly,
just family.
exactly.
Yeah.
If this is my mkulu, if this ke ntate moholo wa ka, why would they want to sleep with me? Why am I fighting so hard? Right? Do you realize that this one day this thing is gonna rape me?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna really sleep with me, and then what? And it wouldn't be so scary, first of all, you know? But anyway, long story short, again, I start seeing what's happening in this place, the spirits, the things that they're using, and I'm like, I am going home. Obo, we go home. And I'm like, I can't stand for this. I can't stand for you telling me that my glozes would want to sleep with me.
And it's inevitable.
Like,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. And funny enough, those are the things that people believe, and they end up getting into those things. Yeah, sharp. Then we're home now. I'm a fitness girl now. It's like, you know what? We're getting into nutrition. I'm going to just heal myself. God will heal me sharp when He wants to. Nutrition, the gym. I'm a fitness bunny, la la la. You know, all good, right? But the pain is not that intense. And I'm keep hoping, okay, I'm going to heal. You know, now it's about chasing the pain. Now I'm no longer chasing all these things that I see now because I'm seeing that now. And it's like I've been seeing these things all my life. Something will happen, you know. Nah, the pain is not that intense. Even the relationship, we're enjoying the relationship now and fine. I'm praying. Oh, good. Right. And then one day, this particular thing was happening. Lungelo, you're not interrupting me.
Go on, my.
You're not asking me questions. Okay, Shalpo. I think, yeah, time passes. And then now something is happening in our lives, and then older people advise us, if this thing is happening in your life, you need a traditional healer.
So we need to toss out or something.
No, you need a traditional healer because this is happening in your life, that particular. I don't want to talk about it because it includes my husband. It's his story to tell. You need a traditional healer. Okay, cool, okay. And then we look for one. But that did not even take long. My husband called his parent, and his parent is like, I know this mama in Soweto. When we get to Soweto, that woman had the same name as the person we went to look for in Lesotho who died. And we're like, oh, maybe we were supposed to see this woman. But now we forgot about that. We moved away from that. Maybe we were supposed to see this woman, you know. And this woman starts speaking, you know. But also she can't really pick what is really happening. All she knows is I have a gift, right? So she advises me, I have a gift, right? And I'll be like, we have a particular thing. I don't want to get into that. And she's like, it's going to follow you and you have to get into it. You have to twasa, you know, you have to do the whole thing. And I'm like, I am not tossing, you know, I'm not tossing. But anyway, long story short now.
Did you toss her?
No, I didn't. So long story short now, we there. And she's like, no, come. This place, we call it Diagelo. So it's a place where all the people feel safe, you know. So there's a church and there's also a traditional side with it. With it as well. So when you come here, just come visit us once in a while, weekends. Come visit us, come listen to your ancestors, you know, and listen to what they're saying, what they want you to do. It's like, okay, but also there's a church. You can come pray. And she uses water. It's like, oh, I remember now, when I was younger, they healed me and I was really healed, you know, with water. Maybe this is the girl. This is my girl, you know? I think this is the girl maybe I've been looking for all my life. Chap, we start visiting, going to the church. It's an apostolic church, going to the church, you know? So now I'm starting to dream, you know? Dream things related to that place, you know? I'm starting clothes now. I'm starting to dream clothes. I'm starting to dream separo. Are they talking to us? Okay. So, I mean, so wait, I'm starting to dream diaparo, different colors, when I go there on weekends, you know. So I sit down to discuss certain things. You had to discuss certain things now with her. We're like, oh, this is what's happening, so that we can see what the direction is in my spiritual journey. This is what I'm dreaming about. This is what I'm dreaming about. So now she has to tell me the interpretation of my dreams. So she now starts saying things like, we're children of Mamlam, there's God in the water. And I'm like, ay, okay, son, this, wabo. But I'm desperate, so I stay a little bit longer because I need to find my healing. You know what I mean? Children of Mamlam. And something in my heart just like, when you're shattered, like, when your heart is just almost like it's tearing, like, no, man, what do you mean? Oh, and when I was in Lesotho, I also dreamt of these giants. It's like, no, we're children of giants. Didn't you know?
Do you then worship this Mamlambo?
No, we're not there. I'm starting to dream those dreams now, right? I'm telling her what I'm dreaming about, right? This is what I'm dreaming. Now this big black python, is prevalent now in the water. Dreaming about a lot of water. When we get into church, I don't know how to pray like you guys, right? I start praying in the name of Jesus, and I start praying in tongues, right? When I pray in tongues, Kiamo's like, is it fine if I pray in tongues? She starts saying, you learned how to pray in tongues. I'm like, no, I didn't learn. Like, this Holy Spirit came. I didn't learn how to pray in tongues. She is, when a person is telling you, no, you learned them. I'm starting to think, oh, maybe I learned them. Maybe like, hey, let me stop praying in tongues because maybe it's tongues of the devil as well. Tongues of the devil as well, right? Let me stop, but my spirit is conflicted. I can't settle. And people there as well, there's a Koketso and there's people from there. Because I pray, do you understand? There's people from there. Like, we can't jail, right? We can't jail. They're just like against me for no reason. But I can't possibly live like this for the rest of my life. You're saying my gift has to take shift here, and I have to twasa, right? And actually worship these things. And I'm like, but I can't do that. My spirit doesn't want to do that. I can't possibly worship a snake. Are you hearing what I'm saying? What you're saying? You're saying we're children of Mamlambo. That's why Mamlambo is coming to me. And then now I have to, do you understand? I have to appease Mamlambo. I have to be initiated into this. And I was like, I'm sorry. If I'm meant to die, if I'm going to die with pain, I will die with pain. I can't, right? So once I'm beginning to
rebel.
Yeah, rebel. It's like, one day I'm sleeping there and God, oh, no. We get a flu. Everybody gets a flu, a virus that was going on at the time. But with me, it was not just a flu. Like, it attacked me. I feel like it was Lesotho times 20, probably, right? And she's like, I get there. It's a Saturday. It's like, no, go home. Go home. I go home. When I get home, that's when God starts to speak. And I'm like, my guy, why were you not telling me that this voice that I've been hearing all my life is actually you? Why did I have to go through these things, right? Then I'm there. I am sick. Lungelo, when I say I am drinking antibiotics, they're not working, right? From this flu that everybody has, that they're healing, but I am not healing. I get home. When I get home, my body is shaking. It's even shaking like this, right? And then before we left, she's like, Kimudimu amates, meaning the god of water. When you have the god of water, your body shakes. But at that time, I'm like, I am done with you, man. I don't get your explanations. I am done. And anyway, I am not healing. People would say things like, when I got in that gate, I healed, right? But I was like, but that doesn't happen to me. It doesn't happen in my mind. I still have anxiety. My anxiety is even worse because of maybe how I'm having these dreams, right? And maybe how you explaining these dreams does not make sense. My spirit does not want to conform. Okay, that night we get home sick, and then that's when God starts to visit. There's this big light. I don't like explaining in detail my encounters with the Lord because it opens it to so much ridicule. You say, I see this, and no, God looks, you understand? And then it's a whole thing now on social media. Starts to visit this bright yellow light. It feels familiar. That one, that visit.
Did you say this is the beginning of your healing?
This
This
is the
point.
exactly. This is the beginning of my
Yeah.
healing now. Yeah. This bright big light. And then this figure holds my hand. If I'm with you, who can be against you? I am the Lord your God. I'm like, hey, I know that from the Bible. And then when he does that, right, there's this peace. I'm not shaking anymore in my body. Everything, you know, he's starting to speak and explain to me who he is. And I'm like, but you've been speaking to me all along, and you are the one who told me that I'm your Joseph, and you chose me for this specific thing. But why weren't you speaking all this time when I was going through all of these things, right? So just when I was asking that question, I fall into a very deep sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I feel so much better. I'm not shaking. I'm not that fluey. I'm not, do you understand? I feel better. I'm like, okay, cool. What do we do now? Tell my husband, what do we do now? Was that really God? I'm still questioning, was that really God? Because, you know, cool. We go there. I tell her what I encountered.
Back to that lady.
Yes. I know. I know. Guys, you know when I say the devil uses your trauma? He really does. Because remember, I'm still holding on to that thing. She's a mother. And another thing I didn't mention is she's very warm. That woman is really warm. You feel like, no, man, maybe it's my mind. This person really wants what's good for me, you know? I will just not do this one where she's telling me about Mam Lambo. No, it's fine. We'll go to church, you know what I mean? That I will not concentrate on. Maybe we can still have a relationship with this person.
I'm going to cheat you a bit
Yeah.
for the sake of concluding your testimony. You encounter God, you go back to her. Do you feel from the beginning of that time that was the beginning of your healing, and did you let go of everything else you had tried?
Yes, definitely. I let go of everything because I went to her. When I told her God is speaking, their reaction was just like, and I'm asking my husband, isn't she supposed to be happy and be like, oh yeah, God is speaking to me? And she was saying things like, no, you have to be speaking to your ancestors right now. You're still a child. Then you will speak to God. Then I knew that, nah, God speaks to me and he explained what's happening. But you're saying it's not God. And we say we believe in God in this church, right? And in Jesus, right? And I knew from that point that I can't possibly go back there, you know? And that's the beginning. And then that's when he started visiting, even tell me, read the scripture. He'll wake me up and to explain to me what's happening. So the next time he speaks to me with the book of Enoch. But at that time, obviously, it's not in the Bible, you know? It's the book of Enoch. It's not in the Bible, right? He starts telling me that Enoch, I go into the Bible first of all. Enoch. No, man, there's only a few things in the Bible. It's not even a full story of who Enoch is. The Bible only says he understands the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, you know? I am not understanding. And for me to move there, like on that last day, what was happening after I told her God is speaking, right? I see these cherries of fire around me, but I still have that innate thing that I don't want to stand out. Ne? All I want is for this vision to stop. Now I understand now that I see visions, I see dreams. You know what I mean? I dream dreams, I see visions. Now I'm aware that I have a prophetic. They around me, and I can't tell her that because she also doesn't want to accept that God is speaking. This is what God has said, right? I can't tell her that. Sharp. On that day, when I went to bed, that's when God said, the book of Enoch, read about Enoch to know what's happening. Shapo, I don't want to read the book of Enoch, but I'm not coming anymore. I'm not going there anymore. I was like, I can't read it. It's not in the Bible. That's wrong. You know what I mean? So eventually I read it. And this is where I get to explain, to understand who the giants are, right? Who the watchers are. Those people who were after me. That's when, like, I get to understand, oh, no, man, you're not relatives like that woman was saying of giants, wara. Do you understand? And this is how the devil actually gets you. who the giants are, who the watchers are, what's really happening in the spiritual world, realm, especially as a gifted person and you don't know, this is how then you get attacked. Because then now he's also fighting to try to get you into the kingdom of heaven. I mean, of darkness, of darkness, right? And then he starts explaining as well with Samuel that the voice I was hearing, it's him who was calling me, but I was not getting it. I thought he's speaking to me about Hannah, right? Hannah. Then I start praying vigorously, like Hannah, praying vigorously. And then sharp. And then one day he's like, okay, get up at 3:00. Get up at 3:00. The Lord is like, okay, read Jeremiah, because you can't understand when I tell you about Samuel and David. He talked to me about so many people. And I'm like, God, why do you like, you should have just said Jeremiah is so obvious, you know what I mean? And also, I didn't want to take it as God is saying this to me so far-fetched. Do you understand? Saying this to me and start saying, oh, I actually function in the office of the prophetic. He needs to confirm directly that, right? I read Jeremiah, la, 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 la. And also the first thing when he starts speaking to me about Jeremiah, I was like, the weeping prophet, do you want to tell me that my life is going to be like this? Yes, it has been weeping, okay? I'm not reading that. I was rebellious, I'm not reading that. I'm not even conforming. But he starts speaking. Okay, cool. This is what I'm trying to tell you. If you know the number 13, in his 13th year, do you understand? That's when he started to in his ministry. And then he took me to Ezekiel when he was 13. So the number 13 is not what you thought. And it's also one of the numbers that the kingdom of darkness have tainted, right? But even as a general person, your 13th year is a very crucial year, right? This is puberty. This is when you decide who you're going to be, right? Just that he starts speaking to me also as a number 13. He takes me to Genesis. It's like the Abrahamic covenant was made when his son was 13 years old. I was like, what? So all this time, I've been going through that. I don't want to lie. I didn't just receive it like, oh, yeah. And it's like, oh, I had a problem with that. All this time, you took me through all these trials to bring me here, to tell me you have made me a prophet into many nations. I am not mad. There's no this. My mother was gifted as well. That's what we're born. Do you understand? But she never got to understand that. But now I'm in a very better place, I'm in a happy place because I know what's happening with me.
I actually wanted to get there. In conclusion, what do you think is the definition of who you are now spiritually?
Yeah.
Prophet, you'd say?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
He called me to
What
be.
do you say?
What do I say?
Your understanding.
I
say what? Prophet?
I say what, like, I agree with what he says.
Yeah.
I can never have my own definition of who I am. For example, I've tried so many things. I've tried to define it myself, and I know, like in Jesus' children of God, there's a difference between an office of the prophet and it being, a gift, because we're all prophetic, right? It being a gift, right? So, yeah, I am who he says I am. I don't define myself anymore. I don't do that because I've been through way too much trauma for me to try and define anything, But now, yeah, the healing is there and I don't see in torment anymore. Of course, yes, from once in a while I'll see, oh, this is what's happening with this particular person, right? But now I don't see in torment anymore. I see in, I don't know, in light.
I hear you. I hear you. Do you believe everything, all those other spirits were satanic?
Yeah, they were. Definitely they were.
The church you went to, satanic?
I would not say satanic, but evil. But I guess it's the same thing. Let me not try to. That's another thing that I got into the habit of, trying to be nice to everyone. It is. For example, let's say to Lesotho, how do I start dreaming about cloths of Ndebele people while I'm not Ndebele? Because I told you I'm one. Do you understand that what was happening there, God was also teaching me something in that period, that You gave them wrong information that you thought of yourself at the time, but it was not true, because later I found out, no, you're actually not Ndebele. Do you understand? You're not Litebele Lahamslekas, but I dreamt of those things when I was there, of those cloths when I was there. So do you understand? And also when I started, another thing about Soweto is people will be so sure that I saw my grandmother. Or when I got to Soweto as well, I skipped this part of it. I would see the first thing that I saw when I got there. It's my grandmother around this woman, right? But for me, it was my grandmother or not my grandmother. There's something shape-shifty about it. It was never like, oh, it's your grandmother, like other people were saying. And I'd be so confused, like, this is what you were saying, and I would say that to her, like, I think I saw my grandmother, or I think I dreamt of my grandmother, but it was not her, right? Because it would be my grandmother, but now they'll be so shape-shifty that it becomes a giant. That, and when she comes, she will give me a scare. And I'd be like, if it's my grandmother, I wouldn't be scared, right? I'll be
at peace.
At peace, right? So that was another thing, right? So for me, no, there's no good in it, unfortunately. And another thing that the Lord did, which he explained later, I started being allergic to chicken, you know? So chicken sacrifices, they use them to cleanse people, Then I was allergic to chicken. When I was there, I was not eating the chicken. When I used to go there, visit there on weekends, I was not eating the chicken, you know? So another form of protection remember when, is it Daniel? When they told him to eat foods of sacrifices for the king, and he said, please allow me to eat fruits and vegetables, and we'll see between me and your men who's in good shape after 10 days. And he didn't. And that's when I understood, when God was revealing these things to me, that, oh, it was all protection. And then if you're operating in this office and in this, right, you need to know what's happening. I didn't know it was preparation, right? When I was going through it, even my body sore, I did not understand, because a lot of us, we don't understand. That's how then you are cheated into thinking, oh, you're so sick. It's your grandmothers, it's your ancestors, right? It means you have to go twasa. You know what I mean? Some things are just preparation, and the Lord lets them happen because you also have to wake up to that reality. Unfortunately,
it took a
process.
Yeah.
In
conclusion, in 30 seconds, what would you say to a young man, who's having the visions and the thoughts as well?
Lean towards God. Read the word for yourself, because I like speaking about prototypes. Find out who your prototype is in scripture. Somebody who's similar to your journey. For example, I dreamt a lot, because now I also actually the Lord showed me this. I can interpret dreams as well, right? So when he told me I was a Joseph when I was young, that means you are dreaming, you're seeing these things, but you can also interpret them with my help, of course, right? So if you are this young person, draw closer to the word. Draw closer to the word. Draw closer to God. There's nothing else anywhere else that nobody can do but God. There's no force that's more powerful than God. Don't let them lie to you. And also heal. It's very important to heal the soul, because you know what happens in the spiritual realm, right? If you have so much trauma, right? You're inflicted by this trauma. You're unable to think properly, right? And the devil preys on trauma. He attaches himself to these parts of your soul that are broken. So he sits there, That's why sometimes you hear people say, it's like, I'm stuck inside my mind, Then there's anxiety, then there's depression, post-traumatic disorder, because a certain part of your soul is broken and the devil is holding it captive. That's why I always say, like, in some form or the other, like, deliverance is important to almost everyone, whether you do it in the form of therapy, but you have to heal those parts of yourself, because that's how the devil gets you, you know, especially, not even especially, as just a normal human being, because we're all gifted as children of God. You don't have to be gifted in the prophetic or this and that, right? Especially if you, I don't know what I'm saying, especially, but you know, when you're gifted in that department, he will try and get you into the kingdom of darkness and try get you believe that there is something fundamentally wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Grow towards God.
Just lean on God.
Lean on God.
Koketso Motaung says, lean on God. There is no other source. There is no other spiritual force that can overcome with you, that can help you heal, and that really can give you solutions to all the things that you are going through. The show is Engineer Your Life, and I'm Lungelo, KM. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Kholwa emandleni onawo.
Oh my, we're finally doing this. What does EYL Africa represent? It's about standing in your power. It's about, in isiZulu, it's kholwa emandleni onawo, which is our tagline. You will see it on the back of my t-shirts. It's about believing in the power that you have, believing in the power that your God, your guides have invested in you. Shop our socks, shop our t-shirt, and yeah, just keep believing in yourself. EYL Africa.
Now available on EYLshop.Africa.